Welcome to Are You Killing It, the podcast powered by Peak Performance Partners, where our mission is to help your business achieve success faster. I'm your host, Dr. John Ronaldo, and each week, our team of business experts brings you the tools, insights, and strategies you need to kill it in your business. No fluff, just real talk to fuel your growth. So let's dive in, gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Are You Killing It?
Oh.
Woo! Here we go. I'm having so much fun with these. We're having so much fun.
If you're listening right now and you don't get fired up the moment you hear this thing turns on, you don't turn into the wrong podcast.
Binge all of our episodes.
Binge it. Well, I am joined here by two of the three founders of Peak Performance Partners. We got Ricky Navarre and Patrick Stewart. Gentlemen, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
For a podcast tip for you, one of the ways that I get inspired with a little more energy, instead of just listening to the podcast at 1.0 speed, try to listen to 1.25 or 1.5.
I don't know what this group.
Yeah. And then the energy is off the wall, so
That's
it's
awesome.
crazy.
All
So.
right.
I already talked fast enough. I'm almost like a chipmunk.
Yeah. Ricky will be like,
Well, sometimes it's the way that I can effectively go, because I listen to a ton of podcasts and audiobooks, so sometimes I need a little faster. It's amazing what you can get done in 1.5 speed. But we're not here to talk about podcast listening tips. Today, we are talking about sales, and more specifically, why everyone is in sales. Yes, even you, okay? So you listening and watching us know that we are all in sales. So sales isn't just a department, right? It's really a mindset. Mm-hmm. And so, Ricky, I know this is, well, you both do the training on sales, but I know, Ricky, this is something you absolutely love to talk about in sales. So let's start. We did one episode on sales before, but let's come back to this here a little bit. Why do you think so many people do resist the idea that everyone is in sales? Do people not believe that? Or tell me what your thoughts on that.
Well, if you're listening to this right now, almost anybody who I ask when I do my sales training, I'm going to say, okay, so who likes the idea of being called a salesperson? And they're like, maybe 1% of people are like, yeah, I love that idea. Everybody else is that negative connotation that comes along with it. There's like, I don't want to be, and pardon the use of this phrase, the used car salesperson, right? And they just don't want to be they don't want to be seen as that icky salesperson who, hey, I want to get money out of your pocket into my pocket. And that's why they start to get this idea of like, nope, I want to be as far away from sales. I hate sales. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Everything is sales, right? Anybody married? Right? If you are a salesperson. You asked that person to marry. You just made the best sale of your life. Great job. Congratulations.
I'm trying to convince my kids all the time, to do something. That's all sales, right? It's like, do your chores. How do I make that work? So
exactly.
I've got a lot to learn here. And Patrick, you and I were talking about this a little bit before we started recording this episode of like the image that people have as salesmen. Ricky, you used car salesmen. No offense to folks. We have friends in the car sales business here. And
they're great.
They're amazing. Absolutely. So, but when we think about kind of the used car salesman or sales, that the image, what is that image that people have, and how do we move away from that image?
Yeah, well, I think there's two things, right? Like, nobody likes to get sold. Everybody likes to buy. Mm-hmm. So I always, when I'm doing sales training, I always kind of use that when you walk into a shoe store, and we've all done it, and the first person they see you, they go, "Can I help you?" And what do we all say? No, I'm just looking, because it's like, even though, if you bought running shoes lately, you go to that wall and you're like, I don't know, am I CrossFit? Am I running a track? There's so many things to choose that you do want help, but you don't want to get sold. So I think that's the idea where we all come from and start. And so I think to answer your question, what we've got to adjust our mindset is it is into that service-centric sales. Mm-hmm. Like at the center of what you're doing is if you truly believe you're trying to serve somebody and help them, then you're not selling them. Because if you have your product or service or whatever it is can help that person, so back to the used car salesman, right? If you don't have a car and you need a car and you can't afford a brand new car, guess what? You need a used car, and you need somebody to help you identify what is the best fit for you. What's going to fit your needs, what's going to fit your budget, and you need that expert to help. And so it truly is that serving, the servant sales.
and guiding them through the process, right? To know
Yeah.
what they really want. That's funny that you talked about buying running shoes. Like, do you have a camera on me? Because I literally bought a pair of running shoes on Friday. No, literally just
And
bought
you
a
went
pair
through
of
that
running shoes on
process, didn't
Friday.
you?
I went through
You
that
want New
process.
Balance? You want Nike? You
Oh,
want
the
new on.
I won't name the
ons?
company that I went
Yeah.
to, but they're incredible. It's the only place I'll ever buy running shoes. So I go straight to them. It's like, here's my issue with my foot. I have a high arch. You know,
That's
they can help me
exactly
figure
right.
out what I need.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I was probably the easiest sale they had that day because I just walked in and said, I know I need a pair of shoes. Let's go.
I
So,
know I need help.
uh,
And so I want to transition. One of the things I love about sales and where people miss it is, again, when we were talking to the other podcast, sales isn't always about making the cash register ring. If you're an owner listening to this podcast, you are selling your team on the vision, the direction, right? You're selling them on, hey, I need your help doing X, Y, Z, right? How are you going to sell them on the idea? Are you just going to talk at them? Or are you going to show up and just be like, go do this, right? Or are you going to get their buy-in? Well, how do you get their buy-in? Well, you have to ask questions. How do you sell somebody the product that they really genuinely authentic need? You ask questions. If I just show up, you say, hey, I need shoes. You need running shoes? Great. Here's a pair. Do I know if they fit you or not? Who knows? But hey, these are the most popular ones, so great. You have high arches? I didn't ask you. I didn't care, right? Because I just wanted you I wanted to make a sale versus let me find out what your wants, needs, desires are. How can I help you achieve that, right? Same thing with your team. Figuring out what they want will help you get what you want, right? And that's the idea. Servant style sales is about, hey, let me meet you where you are. Let me understand and inspire you, because that's what sales is. Sales is inspiring people to action. Sales is an action, and you move people into that action, all right? You will see amazing things happen. All right. Tell your kids to do their chores. If there's no why in it, there's no chore money. They're like, why am I doing this? Because you're a member of this.
dinner.
Because you're a member of this house, you should just contribute. Hey,
Yes.
why should I do this? Because you're an employee here, you should just contribute, right? How do you get them to buy in? That's sales, and that's why everybody is in sales.
And so obviously we have sales departments or some people that are more specifically in kind of the sales role. They're out there, they're building relationships, and their role is that. What does sales look like outside of that traditional sales role, right? The receptionist or the HR person or the delivery driver or whoever. Like,
Yeah.
what does sales look like for them who are not directly like, hey, I got a product for you type of thing?
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, every role impacts the customer experience. So whether it's you're even if you're never even talking to the customers, you impact that experience, right, through the service that you do. And I think that's the idea. Like, once everybody realizes that, even the person that's taking out the garbage or sweeping the floors or making sure that the lights work, making sure the air conditioning is running smooth. I mean, all of that stuff impacts the company. And when everybody starts to when you have a culture that everybody realizes that and they truly believe it and feel it, then what happens is you start to see they start to go above and beyond, right? And it's not like, oh, hey, I need you to come in on Saturday because we get this. It's like, yeah, I'm there. You don't have to convince me, and I'll be there for you, because I've bought into the whole culture idea of, hey, what I do has a greater impact than just my little, whatever my role is.
So you mentioned kind of facilities, janitorial staff, that type of thing, right? And so when someone walks into a showroom or your space or whatnot, they're taking stock of what the place looks like.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's going to affect either positively or negatively the experience that they're going to have in the situation. And so, the janitorial guy who makes it his point to make sure that floor is shiny as shine can get needs to understand that that's part of the sales experience. And
Yes.
when your floor is really, really clean and shiny, I'm using that as an example, I don't know why, right? And the sales guy is able to make an easier sale because of the way the space looked. Well, then the staff, the janitorial maintenance staff, need to know that makes a difference. If the air conditioning is not working, it's going to make for a pretty bad, sales experience, right? Or customer experience for somebody. And so really understanding and helping them. We got to connect the dots. That's what I'm hearing from you, right?
Yes.
We got to connect the dots and help the front office or the HR or maintenance or whoever know that what you do is important. You're not just cleaning bathrooms, for instance. You're not just answering phones. This has a true impact. Ricky, how do we go about communicating? I'm a leader. I'm a business owner. I want my entire team, even the non-sales team, to know your work makes a difference in making this company tick. How do I start messaging that to the team?
I love what Patrick said. It goes back to the end. Who are you serving? It's the customer experience. And if collectively you are creating a team that is focused on the customer experience, everybody wins. Think about Four Seasons. Why is Four Seasons so spectacular? Well, their training is company-wide, that it doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're the president of the company. I don't care if you're the person who's valeting cars. It doesn't matter. If you're walking through and, for example, you have a guest says, excuse me, where's the restroom? Most people say, well, part of the customer experience, I tell them where the restroom is, right? Four Seasons takes it a step further. It's about ultimately saying, hey, we're part of one whole team, and here's how we deliver this experience. It is an exceptional experience. Any Four Seasons employee, again, doesn't matter who you are, they will stop what they're doing. They could be literally running on their way to take something to the VP or president. They will stop. Oh, let me show you. And they will walk that guest to the restroom, or walk them to the ballroom, or walk them to, and they don't just let them say, okay, you're going to go down here, you're going to take a left, you're going to take a right, then you take another left. No, I'm going to walk. They give that experience. And so how do you get the buy-in? Is it saying, hey, we are one cohesive unit, one team, and the more everybody fires on all cylinders, the more when you dial into what you're doing, it makes everybody that much better, right? And it comes down, and then it's all about performance and team and all that. But that's what I say. It's just
the ability for any staff member to stop what they're doing, literally stop what they're doing because they're interacting with a client, a customer, a potential customer, and to give them the care that they need. So I love the idea of walking them to the bathroom or the ballroom or whatnot to help them find their way there, because then we often talk about relationship. It's not really sales when you're in a relationship with people, right? In that sense. And so what a great opportunity to not only say, hey, the restroom's over here, let me walk you over. And now you've got a minute, 90 seconds to be able to converse with this individual and actually build a relationship with them that they wouldn't have had if you just said, hey, turn left, then turn right, and you're there. And then you go on with your day.
Yeah, it's about serving. If you think about it, sales is servant. That's why we call it servant style sales. If I serve my team members, right, whatever they need, I'm here to help you, right? If it's within my capacity, my ability to do it, if I can pour into you, if I can serve you, I can lighten your load, just makes their experience, even their work experience, the company culture, that much better. That also translates into people who are happier, who end up being more willing to want to serve the client.
And I think also explaining the emotional connection of what your product, service, what your company does for somebody is the other side of it, right? And explaining that throughout the organization. I used to sell. I ran a sales force, and we sold vacations over the phone. So we would annoy you at home, and if you didn't answer once, we call you again and call you again. But one of the times I remember I came back it was a resort in Mexico, and I came back and I told my team, I go, I was out, I just happened to be out at the beach, and I jumped into the water and I was swimming, and all of a sudden I was out there and there was this mom and teenage daughter, and they were just having this long conversation about life and what was going on in life and everything. And I happened to see the mom a couple of days later at the same resort, and I just said, hey, I don't want you to think I'm weird or anything, but I was listening to that conversation you were having with your daughter, and she goes, oh my goodness. She goes, we never talk. At home, she's on her phone, she's with her friends. She goes, this is the one time that we actually have time to just have these deep conversations. And I was like, that's what we're selling. We're not we're not annoying people. We're selling these experiences for people to reconnect with their families, right? And so then just to try to get that mental picture of oh, okay, so that's why I'm, they're hanging up on me, and I can take some hang-ups because we're actually adding to the value of people's lives, because those times, they'll never forget those times together.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so what roles, outside the main sales department, for lack of a better term, what roles do you think are the most important in terms of sales for your organization that, again, are not a sales role? Does that make sense? What's the most important role in the organization that needs to learn that, hey, what you do is really important to this business?
I would say it's it's anybody who has any kind of contact with the customer. And it could be the billing department, right? Hey, I got a question about my billing. It could be, again, the receptionist. So anybody that's going to have any kind of one-on-one or contact with the potential customer, right, or your current customer base, they've just got to realize the importance of that sales product. It's just that, again, it's that the service centered, right? It's service centric sales is what it is. But at the very center, the core is service, service, service. So if we're all trying to deliver the best experience, and we're going above and beyond, and we've empowered the employees. Hey, if we're not serving, if they're not having a good experience, you can do whatever it takes, to make this experience top notch. And that's another thing Four Seasons is well known for, right? I mean, people, they can comp dinners and add nights and upgrade and without having to go get permission. And I think that's the other side of it, right? Giving empowerment for people to make a difference.
And I'm gonna add to that. I would say owners, business owners, general managers, VPs. If you are in any leadership role, shape, or form, you absolutely should be going through a sales program. You need to understand, because it's not about the old, all right, I'm going to learn how to make more sales and make the cash register ring. But again, you're inspiring and influencing your team, and it's about being able to motivate them. When Patrick told me that, we just heard that story about the mom, and he goes back and tells his team, he's now selling the team on the vision. And imagine when you've got a phone room and you got people who are complaining, I get hung up on, oh my God, these people, and you can only imagine the level of that culture where you're just getting, dialing. And how do you keep that team motivated? Well, him as a leader comes back and says, let me tell you what we're really doing here. We're changing lives. So go, and now they're willing, like you said, they're willing to go through a few more hang-ups, a few more no's, because now they see a bigger picture. Their calling isn't about the no. Their calling isn't about trying to make the cash register ring. They're on a mission saying, hey, I want to help the next family who might not get this opportunity if I don't call. Imagine that's a leader. If you're an owner, how do you get your people to buy into that kind of, hey, here's what we're really about, what we're really doing? You can really learn some of those skills when you go through a sales program to understand, hey, I need to sharpen my skills so I can inspire that kind of passion. If you're the owner, you don't need it. You're already fired up. It's your company. You know exactly why you're doing this.
Or
right?
Maybe they still do need it. Maybe it gets more tips.
Yeah, right. But you don't need that inspiration, because again, you have that. But what happens when you have turnover in your company? Why do you have such high turnover in your company? What happens when you're not able to articulate that effectively? That's where everybody is in sales, and you want to be able to articulate it in a way that, again, money will come. A lot of people are, hey, I have to get sales because I need to make the cash register ring. But if you're not doing it for the right reasons, that's short money. If you do it for the right reasons, you will have people who are absolutely on fire. They will run through walls for your organization. They will show up early. They'll stay late. They will help the team members. They will pour into the new team members that come on to help make their journey, their experience better. That's what it's all about. That's company-wide. That's sales.
And you guys mentioned something earlier too that I think, Patrick, you mentioned it's not just about new clients or customers, but it's about your existing ones.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot easier to keep existing clients than it is to try to get new ones, right? That's isn't that
Yeah.
true, right? And so sometimes I think I have certainly felt this way on the receiving end of bad customer service, where like, oh, they're getting my automatic debit, for whatever, and so they're not worried about me when really they should be. I was literally just on the phone today with an unnamed pool company who said they were going to fix a leak in my pool back in May, and it's October when we're recording this. I'm just like, seriously? Like, I just called them again, like, guys, please fix this. I wasn't crying, but I was like, I was begging them to do that. It's like, and trying to help them understand this. I wasn't training them. I'm just saying, like, you say you're going to show up and then you don't show up, right? You say you're going to fix this and then, but they're like, oh, we're ordering the part. Like, well, then communicate that with me, right? Those are important things. Now, going back to the running shoe company, I went back to this running shoe company because I knew the level of service, and I knew that the guy would spend an hour with me to make sure that he measured my foot exactly, knows the length, knows the width, knows my arch, and help and actually would film me running on a treadmill so they could see how my gait is, so they can actually, find the right shoe for me. Like, I really value. Did I want to be in the store for an hour? No. But was I getting good service and making sure I got a pair of running shoes that were going to protect my feet so I can keep running? Hey, look, I'm 46 years old, all right? I'm starting to get older. I want to keep running for a while here, guys. My shoes are important to me. This sounds like a plug for a company that I'm not going to name on the air right now. But, like, I'm willing, Ricky, to your point, I'm willing to go through this ordeal, for lack of a better term, because I know I'm going to get a good product. I'm going to get something I know I need, and I'm willing to spend an hour, and I'm willing to spend a premium on something I know is going to serve me.
And let me ask you, how happy were you when you walked out?
Oh, I was so happy.
Right.
And I went running the next day in those shoes. I was like, yes, I love this feel.
And you paid the premium,
Yes.
right? And you were happy about it.
100%.
That's what we're talking about. Instead of just trying to sell to get people, that's the difference between short money and long money. You went back, you knew it, and you were like, oh my goodness. We might not be plugging them right now, but I guarantee you, right?
Yeah, by the end of this podcast, you're gonna throw the name out there.
There's somebody
right
right now
on pins and needles.
Somebody's like, where's this place? I want to know.
Well, no, but it's funny is I have actually referred this company to a lot of people who are looking for running shoes. I say, hey, you're going to spend a little more money, but you're going to get a shoe that's going to last, and your feet, your body are going to feel better.
Nice.
Like, I'm selling for them.
Yes.
And that goes to the point, right? Like, when your customer starts selling for you, man, maybe I should. Can I get a commission, guys?
I think if you throw the name out, we got our next sponsor.
This is how we sponsor the podcast.
And the promo code
Get
is
ready. Yes. Yeah. And I think, to that point, I know, speaking of running shoes, Zappos, I mean, Tony Hsieh, when he first brought that company back in here to Vegas, and he built this culture, right? Before it was about, hey, how many sales can you get, and get off the phone as quick as you can. And he changed that whole culture of saying, hey, I think they celebrated like the longest call, they get a sale. And he just, that was like on the wall of fame, and kind of like, hey, this is we will spend the time and the energy. And I think it just, again, once you start to treat people like that, your team, again, that now all of a sudden they're going to start selling for you. They're going to be so excited. We had an employee that said, man, we have the Lamborghini of service. And I'm like, yes, we are, and I think that when you get your employees feeling like that they're working for the Lamborghini, again, now you got other people selling for you.
And man, it makes it easier, right? For everybody. I love that. Ricky, you talked about sales training. We're not going to be shy about this. This is something that we support businesses in, right? And we do help with training. Can you real quickly just give a brief overview of what we do in our sales training, how long it is, who should attend this, and where they can find some more information about it?
Yeah, I think sales. We've had some amazing experiences. Anybody who's dealing with people should take it. Now, obviously, those who are trying to make the cash register ring, or they're trying to develop their business development, their sales teams should take it first, right? And again, we'll also do the executive teams and managers. But our program actually is custom made. So I come from owning multiple businesses, and one of my stints, as you've heard probably when one of our previous podcasts, I sold timeshare. So maybe instead of a used car salesperson, I'll use a timeshare. Nobody likes timeshare people, right? But I was one of the few people that was able to sell it ethically and bring value, because to what Patrick was saying, I believe as a timeshare owner, like, hey, the memories you get, it's incredible, right? Yeah. So I've learned some of the most amazing skills in timeshare, and we've created our own custom program. You will not find this program anyplace else. It's very elite, and it's very exclusive, and it takes the best of timeshare, not how to show people how to manipulate someone, but how to serve them, and really. So we take them through what the psychology of sales. Then we talk about the sales presentation, because there is a science to a sales presentation. Timeshare figured it out. You want to take them through a journey, and what most people miss is in a presentation, they are logical by nature, and every business, every buying decision for anybody, it doesn't matter, just make cash registering, like we're talking about, moving people to influence, is made emotionally, then backed up logically. The problem is 90% of sales presentations are logical. Hey, I've got a product to sell. You have a product to buy. We want to, here you go. You want to buy it? It's vanilla. It's plain, and people wonder why they're not making, moving the needle more. But then we get into the presentation. We talk about that. We talk about the villain, because, and I love the way that Patrick has, because he worked on this with me, is every great story has a villain. So as your company, who's the villain? What are you trying? Why was your company made? It wasn't just to make money. If it was, well, good for you, but those go out very quick, right? There's a lot of companies that don't make it because their why is not strong enough, So then we talk about, and then we get into objection, where we talk about close and win. So you've taken somebody through the journey, you've got them to the end of the presentation. Now, how do you serve them? How do you understand what their objections are? Because objections versus conditions, we understand that. Then we talk about third-party stories, isolating, overcoming the objection to help someone, even if sometimes people are, and you've all been there. You know what I'm talking about. You have the right product, the right service for the right person. Oh my God, it's like they just can't see it. But if you don't know how to really articulate it in a way for them to be like, oh, right? So we show them how to overcome the objection, serve the client, and help move them into the right position for their benefit, not ours, right? So we take them through that. Then we talk, phase 2 is presentation training, and we had just layers on top of all that.
I love it.
And I think one of the things that I would say, and Ricky needs a few more words to say this, but it truly is this. We take the art of sales and the science of sales, and we just bring them together.
Amen.
Because I think most people concentrate on one or the other, but our training literally does both.
So there's our sales pitch. Right, there's our sales pitch. I know I was gonna
just shorten that up nice and sweet.
I was gonna make a joke about, hey, I told him to do a brief overview, and he gave me the entire training basically.
Yeah, there you
Like,
go.
you don't need to come to class. You just got it. Just
I
keep
love
listening.
it. But that's our sales pitch for our sales training. But that's because we want to be of service, right? And we want to help your business achieve success faster. And so that's why we have it out there. So check it out, 3-peak.com. You can find out more information about sales, the CBA, all the other things that we do. Obviously, we're here to help you as business owners, as business leaders, again, achieve success faster. So, and this podcast is one of those ways we're doing it. We're trying to offer value to all of you listening and watching. And so we're just so glad that you're joining us on this journey of this crazy group of podcasters. And I think we're having a lot of fun doing this right now.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, but
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of Are You Killing It? Powered by Peak Performance Partners. We're just so excited to be here with you all. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. Take care.